fruits that could knock out an elephant. Yet the woman ate them as a regular meal. Not only that, she even force-fed them to her 4 stepchildren. The whole village thought she had gone mad. But to their surprise, the mother and children were all unharmed. It was all because of an accident. Suyu had time-traveled from the apocalypse into a farmer's body. She was still an untouched maiden, yet when she opened her eyes, she had become the stepmother of 4 children, and the family was dead broke. The kid's father had nothing but a handsome face, lazing around and enjoying himself all day. He sold all the good family land for food and drink. Luckily, his elder brothers found out and forced him to keep 2 remote acres. Suyu did not want to starve again like in the apocalypse. She shouldered a hoe and went out. But just as she reached the west end of the village, a timid little girl's voice called out from behind, "Mother." Suyu stopped and turned around. She saw 2 barefoot 4-year-olds carrying a water jar, staggering toward her. These were the youngest twins of the Lu family. "Why did you 2 follow me?" "Third brother, and I came to bring you water, mother. If you don't drink, you can't work hard. Your stomach will hurt." "She's not our mother." Second brother said, "We're not allowed to call her mother." "But I want a mother." Suyu felt a bit helpless, but Samling wasn't wrong. She was only their stepmother, not their real mother, and she had only been in the Lu home for 2 days. It was natural for the children to be hostile. "Give me the water. You 2 go back home. It's a long way." Samling obediently nodded. Samling glanced at Suyu, then handed her the water jar. "Go back now." Samling took his sister's hand to leave, but Samling broke free from her brother, ran up to Suyu. "Mother, you won't run away, will you?" The little girl looked up at her, her innocent eyes full of longing for a mother's love. Big brother and second brother said, "That's stepmothers. When they see how poor we are, will definitely run away. But I don't want mother to leave." Their birth mother had given birth, and then left right after her brother and sister were born. They had never had a mother since they were little, so they especially envied other children who had mothers. Such a burning, innocent gaze. How could Suyu bear it? She crouched down and patted the little girl's head. "Be good, Siling. Go home and wait for me." "Siling, be good. Go home and wait for mother." Watching the 2 children return to the village, Suyu shouldered her hoe again, picked up the water jar, and continued on. Following the river upstream, she reached a valley entrance, turned, and entered the mountain. Having survived in the apocalypse for years, finding food had become Suyu's instinct. This mountain forest before her, in her eyes, was a natural granary. In autumn, beasts fatten up for winter. They are at their plumpest. And here in the mountains, she didn't have to worry about mutant plants or animals suddenly attacking, nor was she afraid of zombies suddenly charging out. But Suyu overestimated herself. With this current body, she had just entered the mountain, walked for 10 minutes, and her legs began to tremble. She quickly found a big tree nearby, leaned against it, and drank some water to replenish her strength. Looking at the withered yellow leaves on the branches, she even wanted to pluck them and eat them. If this kept up, she would lose all reason from hunger. She had to find food quickly. She heard rustling sounds nearby. She immediately grabbed her hoe and followed. But the creature ran much faster than her. Suyu could only watch that plump wild chicken fly away from her feet, leaving behind a colorful feather. Once again, Suyu cursed Lu Ji to high heaven in her heart. If it weren't for this husband emptying the house, leaving not a single grain of rice, she wouldn't be so hungry that she couldn't even catch a wild chicken. Then she thought again. If it was this hard for her, an adult, how much harder must it be for those 4 children at home? Remembering Silang's hopeful eyes, her body suddenly burst with strength again. She tossed away the feather and continued the chase. Heaven never seals off all exits. She didn't catch the wild chicken, but she discovered a large patch of taros. Touching the slime from taro makes you itch all over. The villagers here didn't know how to handle it. They thought it was poisonous. Unless it was a famine year and they were starving to death, no one would dig them up to eat. Suyu picked up her hoe and dug a few times. It was a good variety of taro with a nice texture, the many-seeded jade type. Her heart rejoiced. She dug up over 20 pounds in one go. She gathered firewood, dug a pit, and roasted the taros to eat right there. With no flint, she used the bow drill method to start a fire. Soon, under the intense friction, the pine needles began to smoke. Suyu watched for the right moment, blew gently, and the pine needles burst into flames. Afraid of causing a forest fire, she also dug a circular firebreak, watching carefully as the taros roasted beside the fire. The aroma of food soon wafted out. Suyu swallowed hard, waited until the taros were fully cooked. Couldn't resist picking one up and eating it. Soft and crumbly, with a slight sweetness, she ate 5 or 6 in one breath. Finally, the burning in her stomach eased a lot. She kept the remaining 4 to bring back to the children, covered the fire with soil to put it out, picked up her hoe and kept digging. After filling her stomach with taros, her strength returned to about 70 or 80%. She vaguely sensed her special ability slowly recovering. The dug-up taros formed a small hill, roughly 50 or 60 pounds. She found some vines nearby, made a simple makeshift net, and packed all the taros into it. Only then did she go down the mountain and head home. On the way back to the village, she met villagers working in the fields. This new Yuanyang is really pitiful. A perfectly good girl married to Lu Laosan, starving, forced to eat poison. So tragic. Suyu paid no attention to the looks of sympathy or contempt. She just wanted to get home quickly, to see how those 4 stepchildren were doing. Even though no one looked after them, they had managed to survive until now. But Suyu was still worried. Even in the apocalypse, she had never seen children so thin. She touched the 4 still warm taros in her bosom. and hurried faster toward the Lu home. But before she even reached the front door, she heard angry shouts and the terrified cries of children from afar. Su Yu's expression sharpened. She saw a crowd gathered around her doorstep, and the missing Lu Ji was being chased frantically by several village men, covering his head. Lu Dalong and Lu Erling dashed in front of Lu Ji, trying to block the fierce villagers. But instead of stopping the children, their father ducked behind his sons and cheered them on. Dalong, Erling, fight for your father. Erling, kill them for dad. But that was like throwing eggs against a stone. The two skinny boys were shoved aside and thrown hard to the ground. Writhing in pain, the twins stood at the doorway, wailing loudly. Don't hit my brother. Don't hit my brother. Debts must be repaid. That's only natural. If you don't pay up now, we'll smash your house today. Lu Ji ran faster than a rabbit, though shabbily dressed, and looking utterly pathetic. His sword-like brows and starry eyes still exuded a carefree, unrestrained charm. The village women watching quickly averted their eyes, afraid someone would notice their racing hearts. Lu Ji, seeing he couldn't hide, and couldn't run either, watched as a wood-chopping knife was about to come down. Everyone stop. Su Yu roared. A slender hand clamped onto the knife handle. Lin Erbao was taken aback. Where did this village woman come from? How dare she snatch his knife? Su Yu's forceful presence threw both the man and the knife aside. Who are you? We're here to collect a debt from Lu Ji. What's it to you? Only then did Lu Ji see the person in front of him clearly. His eyes lit up instantly. He immediately hid behind Su Yu. Wife, save me. Lu Ji was dumbfounded. Lin Erbao and the other debt collectors were also dumbfounded. They looked at Dalong and Erlang lying on the ground with no one to help them, and the twin brother and sister crying loudly. Su Yu felt a surge of inexplicable anger. Then she looked at Lu Ji, who showed no sign of malnutrition. Instead, his sturdy frame suddenly felt it might be better if the debt collectors took care of him. So, under everyone's shocked gaze, Su Yu kicked Lu Ji out. The wrong has its doer, the debt has its debtor. Whoever owes you, go collect from them. Lu Ji, who had been chased for a while, was kicked out by his wife. Lin Erbao didn't know what this woman was planning, but he seized the opportunity. Immediately pinned the stunned Lu Ji down hard. Tie his hands and feet, so he doesn't run away. Here is your debtor. Sure thing. Wife, what are you doing? I'm your husband. We just at the government office. The magistrate personally arranged our marriage. Su Yu. Su Yu. Shut up. What are you howling about? Like a stupid pig. Take him away. Don't do anything rash. And don't cripple him. You've seen the state of my household. Can't afford to keep him. So please just get rid of him for good. You damn woman, are you messing with me? Brother, I'm serious. Remember, we'll beat you to death. Are you really going to have Lu Ji pay off the debt with his life? Su Yu responded faintly, and didn't look at him again. She helped Dalong and Erlang, who had fallen to the ground, and checked the children's injuries. This is my home, even though it's just us orphans and widows. I, Su Yu, am not someone to be pushed around. Now that Lu Ji has been handed over to you, if you cause trouble at my door and hurt my family, I'll risk my life to drag him down to meet the king of hell. Lin Erbao realized this woman was not to be trifled with. He began to think of backing off. Dalong and the others were just weak from hunger. After falling, they were dizzy and couldn't get up. Aside from a few scrapes on their arms, nothing serious. Su Yu breathed a sigh of relief. She pulled the twin boy and girl, their faces covered in tears and snot, over to her side. Although this woman had only been in their home for 3 days, the 4 children now realized they seemed to have someone to rely on. Mother. Siling. Scared? Don't be. Mother is here. We really are taking him away? Take him away. I won't stop you. Everyone was instantly silenced. Lin Erbao recalled how Su Yu had thrown him off earlier. He was still a bit wary, and didn't want to get a reputation for bullying women and children. Fine, you 2 lovebirds can just put on a show here. I'll be damned if I don't see who ends up crying. Lu Ji was carried off like that, but after a few steps, he turned back to see Su Yu's expression, only to find Su Yu completely unmoved. They say a night of marriage brings 100 nights of grace. How could this couple have no affection left at all? And none of the 4 Lu children came to stop it. You just wanted to scare my dad. You didn't really want Lin Erbao to kill him, right? No. I'm serious. The 4 Lu siblings looked at each other in bewilderment. Then the 3 brothers shouted, "Father," and dashed after him like the wind. But they were too weak. After just 2 steps, their legs were weak from exhaustion, dizzy and seeing stars. Soon they slunk back dejectedly. They watched Su Yu's busy back, hesitating. Coming afterwards was Old Man Lu, who had rushed back from the fields. Father and his 3 sons. They didn't see Lu Ji, only saw Dalong and the other 3 siblings standing in the yard, trembling with fear. Old Man Lu had a bad feeling. Dalong, where is your father? Dalong looked at his grandfather and uncles before him, then at Su Yu inside the house. For a moment, he didn't know what to say, seeing the 4 siblings silent. Only looking at the house, Old Man Lu waved his hand and walked toward the door with the others. Lu Ji's family lived in a thatched hut, not even with mud walls. This kind of house had 2 small rooms and a kitchen. The kitchen was completely open air, just a stove made of piled stones. On the stove, a pot. Next to the stove, an empty jar. There wasn't even a fenced yard. Old Man Lu and his 3 sons hadn't taken 2 steps before they reached Suyu, the 3rd son's new wife. Old Man Lu had met once before. 3 days ago, that shameless Lu Ji lingered in the old house yard, saying he was going to the county town to pick up his wife. Borrowed 10 won, used the money to rent the ox cart of the wealthy Wang next door, rushed to the county seat, and brought her back. Lu Ji at least remembered his father was still at home. This elder, the rascal, led his new wife to the old house and kowtowed properly to Old Man Lu. Suyu fled from disaster, penniless, wearing old clothes given by others. She was thin and gaunt. Dad, big brother, second brother, little uncle. Where's that bastard, the 3rd one? The 3 Lu brothers nodded at him. They were fairly polite. Gone to pay off his debt. With even a single one in his hand, he would spend it on half a plate of peanuts. How could he repay the debt? No money, then pay with his life. If you want to redeem him, go ahead. Take your own money to redeem him. I don't have a single one anyway. Don't be stubborn. If something comes up, come to the old house. We'll discuss it together. Old Man Lu thought he understood his meaning. Would come to borrow money to redeem Lu Ji, so he felt a little relieved. Uncle Lu and his brothers held deep grudges against Lu Ji. Seeing Suyu agree, they urged Old Man Lu to go home and eat first. Old Man Lu looked at the mother and her children before him, heaved a long sigh, called his sons and left. Suyu watched them go far away, turned to look at the 4 siblings. Hungry? The 4 nodded honestly. She was also hungry. Took out the 4 still warm taro roots from her pocket. 1 each. Have something to stave off hunger. Suyu looked around the dilapidated house again. In the 2 rooms, there were only beds made of wooden planks. A set of bedding whose color could not be discerned. Forget hiding money. Even a mouse would have nowhere to hide. At least there was a stove, an iron pot, and a water jar. With an empty stomach, no proper meal to be had. Could only continue roasting taro to eat. Suyu deftly lit a fire. The 4 siblings stood behind her, watching the fragrant taro in their hands. They swallowed hard. In the face of food, they had already put aside the matter of their rascal father being carried off by debt collectors, pushed to the back of their minds. Sanlang and Silang brought the taro to their noses to sniff. Licking their lips, they looked at their 2 older brothers. Dalong watched as Suyu buried the black lumps into the fire, then scraped them out when they were cooked. She peeled off the skin and put the food into her mouth. Only then did she nod at the impatient younger siblings. Sanlang had just taken a bite, when his eyes lit up. So fragrant. This is taro. It's always been fragrant. Suyu's voice suddenly rang out. The 4 siblings, all chewing taro with big mouths, froze simultaneously. Erling's expression shifted slightly. He had heard the villagers say taro was poisonous. Eating it could give you a strange disease. Your whole body would itch unbearably. People would scratch until their skin festered, leading to death. Suyu had just seen them cautiously observing her actions. Only then did she understand the kid's confusion. She let out a light laugh and put all the taro in her hand into her mouth. Raw taro sap will make your skin itch. Just rinse it off with water. Cooked taro doesn't have that problem. Eat up, don't worry. With that, she buried more raw taro in the ashes to keep roasting, and pulled out the already roasted ones, piling them by the fire. Where's the bucket? I'll go get some water. When I get back, we'll clean the house. This dirty house right now. Suyu couldn't stand it for even one night. Dalong finished the taro in his hands in 2 bites, went inside and brought out a heavy wooden bucket, then told Erlang to watch the house, and set off with Suyu to fetch water. Suyu carried the bucket, following Dalong. The 2 walked toward the village in silence. There was a well in the village. The well water was clear, cold, and sweet. All the villagers fetched water here. It was exactly the time the villagers were having lunch. There weren't many people by the well. Dalong skillfully tied the rope to the bucket handle, lowered it into the well, and shook it a few times. The bucket tipped over into the water. Soon he drew a full bucket of water. The boy looked a bit strained. There was no winch or lever by the well, just a bare well. Suyu stepped forward and took the rope. With a little effort, she lifted the bucket up. Dalong looked at her in surprise, lifting the heavy bucket of water. A glimmer of light shone through his numb expression. She filled 2 clay jars that had been emptied that morning, washed another wooden bucket, and lowered it into the well. Imitating Dalong's actions just now, she drew a full bucket of water. Suyu carried the bucket in one hand, and a clay jar in the other. The remaining one, a large bucket, she hugged in her arms. Perhaps it was the first time they could bring so much water home. The usually mature boy, a naive, slight smile appeared on his face, before they even reached the doorstep. Mother. Haha, slow down. Siling fell down, then got up by herself, wiped her dirty little hand across her face, giggled foolishly, not feeling any pain. Being sensible, she wanted to help carry the bucket. Suyu saw she wasn't injured, and silently breathed a sigh of relief. She didn't let her carry it, told her not to run, and to follow her slowly. But the little one never stopped talking the whole way. Every few steps, she asked if she was tired. Suyu had to patiently answer every question. Erlang and Sanlang had already wiped the empty water vat clean. The 3 brothers were weak. Usually they only used buckets to fetch water. This water vat hadn't been used for a long time. Suyu poured all the water into the vat. It only filled a third. 2 more trips were needed to fill it. The house is too dirty. Erlang, Sanlang, you 2 get the broom and sweep the floor. Dalong and I will keep fetching water. Oh, and boil a pot of hot water. Later we'll all wash up. Ah, what about the fields? Others are almost done planting wheat. Our family hasn't even started yet. In Dalong's eyes, nothing else mattered. Farming was the priority. The weather these 2 days is perfect. If we miss the season, the wheat won't grow well. Of course, Suyu knew farming was important. But right now the family didn't even have wheat seeds. What would they plant? Farming isn't urgent. First, let's clean the room where we'll sleep tonight. With that, she filled the iron pot on the stove with water, then picked up the empty bucket and walked toward the village with Dalong. Siling saw second brother and third brother still standing there dumbfounded. So she took the broom herself and started cleaning the house with great effort. Lu Erling couldn't understand this stepmother's thinking. Why bother cleaning everything, second brother? If we don't behave, will our stepmother hit us? The two brothers exchanged a glance. Remembering the fierce sight of Su Yu catching the knife with one hand, they both shivered. Immediately they boiled water, swept the floor, and wiped the table. By the time Su Yu had filled the water vat, the floor of the house had already been swept clean by the three siblings. The low table with a broken leg in the main room had also been wiped spotless. Only the cobwebs up high remained, because they couldn't reach due to their height. Su Yu inspected everything and was fairly satisfied. Just then, the water in the pot came to a boil. She fished out a heavy old wooden basin from under the bed, mixed in the hot water, and washed all four children clean. There was still some water left in the vat. Su Yu also did so. She took some hot water into the house and wiped herself down. After wiping herself, taking advantage of the sun, she picked up a hatchet, went to the mountain and cut a few branches, made a simple clothesline rack, took out the matted bedding and aired it in the sun to get rid of the musty smell and dampness. All afternoon, Su Yu never stopped. She was busy all around the house. After hanging the bedding, she took out the straw from the bed and put it in the sun at the doorstep. After finishing these, she went inside to sweep the cobwebs. As she scraped the wall, mud came down in clumps. The wall visibly became thinner. The quality of this house. Forget a heavy snow. Even a big rainstorm could wash it away. What kind of life did you live before? Is this fit for humans? How could a decent life end up like this? It's simply unbelievable. Upon hearing this, the Lu siblings' faces turned red. They lowered their heads in shame. Because Lu Ji, their father, never took charge, and the kids didn't know how to take care of themselves. The village children wouldn't play with them, disgusted by how dirty and smelly they were. Even if they hadn't done anything, just walked a little closer to others, they would still get scolded. She was a bit confused. I didn't yell at them, did I? What's wrong? Do you know where there's dry straw? What do you need straw for? Su Yu pointed at their bare feet, and at her own worn-out straw sandals that could fall apart any moment. Dalong understood. Erling, Samling, and Siling's eyes lit up. Was stepmother going to make them straw sandals? Su Yu followed Dalong and Erling, sneakily, came to the rice field that old man Lu had just harvested. Is it okay to just take them? Dalong didn't answer, but from his practiced speed, it was clear he often did this. Dad said Grandpa's things are his, and his things are ours. Taking our own things is only natural. Su Yu was stunned. What kind of nonsense this Lu Ji teaches? But looking at the big bundle of straw in her arms, she chose to shut up. The three of them each carried a big bunch of straw. In no time, they disappeared into the fields. Lu Ji's house was remote. When they got near the house, the three finally slowed down. Erling caught his breath. He quickened his pace to catch up. Su Yu, are you going to make us shoes? You even know how to weave straw sandals? That's a skill only the old folks in the village have. Su Yu suddenly stopped. The two brothers behind her quickly stopped too. What's wrong? She tucked the straw under one arm, freed one hand, and lightly slapped each of them on the head. What's with all this, you? So disrespectful. You should call me Auntie. Both were dumbfounded. They let out a sigh of relief. Aunt, that's more like it. Help me tear off the outer crispy layer. Keep only the strongest middle part. Oh, the two brothers responded. They placed the straw under the eaves. They are all obedient children. Su Yu felt quietly satisfied. Actually, making them call her mother. Not to mention they weren't willing. She herself felt awkward. The title, Aunt, is just fine. Staying at home. Sanlang and Silang heard the commotion and came out. Su Yu stopped the siblings. Told them to just call her Aunt from now on. Sanlang was a bit stunned. Wasn't it supposed to be mother? Silly, calling her Aunt is fine. We still have our own mother. Who wants to call a stranger mother? Sanlang and Silang call her Aunt. Aunt. Go help me check on the drying straw. Don't let the wind blow them away. Sanlang, tasked with the job, smiled shyly. Nodded. Joyfully picked up a small stick to use as a rod. Stood guard by the straw pile. Watch carefully. I want mother. I want mother. I want mother. The younger sister is too little. Can't reason with her. Su Yu sighed softly, waved her hand, signaling the troubled boy to go tear the straw. She gently coaxed the little pendant on her thigh. You can call me mother too. Or aunt. Call me whatever you want. Be good, okay? Siling is such a good baby. Gave her a small handful of straw as a toy. Sit nicely, don't run around. After settling the little one, Su Yu led the two older ones to start weaving straw sandals. She used a machete to sharpen a few branches as a stand, twisted all the straw into thin strands of rope. Only then could she weave them into sandals on the stand. Dalong and Erlang had little strength. The ropes they twisted were loose. All they could help with was the straw. The rest of the pre-processing work was all done by Su Yu herself. The entire afternoon, Su Yu was twisting ropes. The palms of her hands were nearly smoking from friction. She finally finished twisting all the straw brought in today. The sun dipped. Roll up the ropes and put them in the house for now. Move the fluffy bedding and straw back inside. Remade 2 beds. Removed half the bedboards in the master bedroom, leaving only a single bed. The space immediately became larger. Placed the low table used as a dining table in the middle of the room. This side became a multi-purpose activity area. The 4 children slept separately in the small room. Bring the bed boards removed from the main room over. Widen the bed. That way the 4 children won't be cramped sleeping together. The freshly made bed gave off a scent of straw and sunshine. Siling climbed onto the bed and rolled around. Mother, it's so warm. For dinner, Suyu made boiled taro. There are still many taros in the mountain. If she dug them all up, they should last a month. In the short term, she didn't have to worry about starving, but the current temperature wouldn't allow storage. She would dig them up when needed. At night, Suyu started weaving straw sandals by torchlight. The twin brother and sister yawned repeatedly. She told them to go to sleep, but they refused. They stared eagerly at the sandals in her hands, waiting to wear new shoes. Suyu was both sympathetic and helpless. The villagers here had no nightlife at all. To save on lighting costs, they went to bed when it got dark. Luji's home was also remote. At night, the howls of wild animals occasionally came from the mountains. Under this atmosphere, Dalong and Erling finally remembered their father, who was carried away. After some hesitation, they finally couldn't help but speak up. But just then, Suyu finished the first pair of straw sandals. In order of age, this pair goes to Dalong first, she said. Picked up the straw rope and continued weaving the second pair. She was also very tired that day. After weaving one more pair for herself, she was ready to rest. Dalong swallowed the question that was on the tip of his tongue. But seeing the tightly woven sandals, the boy took them in his hands with surprise and delight. Under the envious gazes of his younger siblings, he placed them by his feet to measure the size. Just right. Erlang and the other 2 were also envious, but they knew they all would get some, so they waited patiently. Unfortunately, tonight Suyu only made 2 pairs. The 3 siblings had to go back to the room regretfully to sleep. Looking forward to tomorrow. The next day, Suyu put on the new straw sandals, ate 2 taros, then shouldered a hoe and went out. Quickly dug up 2 baskets of taros and came back. The current goal was to get her body stronger as soon as possible. The wild beasts in the mountains. Once she recovered her health and gathered the equipment, then she would fight them. The children at home had already made breakfast. They waited for her to come back before eating. This surprised Suyu. Perhaps because the food was brought back by her, they assumed she had the right to distribute it. The mother and children happily finished eating 8 jin of taros. During that time, Siling would occasionally act cute and ask to be fed. After breakfast, under the expectant looks of the 3 children, Suyu picked up the straw rope again, started weaving straw sandals, spent the whole day finishing 3 pairs of small sandals, and also made 1 extra pair of adult size. The children carefully washed their feet, put on the new sandals, walked around the yard. With satisfied expressions, they looked at Suyu. In this stepmother's eyes, unconsciously had more closeness. Erlang looked at the extra pair of sandals. Aunt, can I take these sandals to the village to sell? Can they be sold? Erlang wasn't sure either, but he wanted to try. Even if they couldn't sell for money, being able to exchange them for some vegetables for the family would be good. Suyu didn't expect this kid to have such a business sense, so she nodded in agreement. The 4 siblings carefully carried that pair of sandals, walked toward the busiest well in the village. The water vat at home was empty again. Suyu picked up the bucket, locked the door, and followed the 4 children to fetch a bucket of water while she was at it. She didn't have high hopes for selling the sandals, but she wasn't content to just watch from the shadows. Yet she didn't expect that after Erlang's hawking, people actually gathered to look at the sandals. After some bargaining, they traded for a bunch of greens and a loofah. The 4 siblings were overjoyed, hurriedly took the vegetables they got, ran to Suyu to show off their achievement. Suyu smiled and gave them a thumbs up. Watching the back of the woman who traded for the sandals, a thought came to her mind. Maybe she could make more pairs of straw sandals and trade them with the villagers for daily necessities. Oil, salt, soy sauce, vinegar, tea, pots, bowls, ladles, basins. Luji's family was so poor they couldn't even gather 5 complete sets of bowls and chopsticks. They only had 1 water bucket. The water vat was ridiculously small. She had to fetch water 4 or 5 times a day to have enough. It was a huge waste of time. First, set a small goal. Trade for a wooden bucket and a carrying pole. Suyu clasped her hands behind her back. Spoke seriously. Dalong and Erlang are full of energy. Let's first go borrow some straw from your grandfather's field. We'll repay him the cost after we earn money. What do you think? The 2 brothers exchanged a look. Without any hesitation, they turned and ran toward Old Man Lu's field. The family of 5 had a clear division of labor. Dalong and Erlang were in charge of transporting raw materials. Sanlang and Silang were in charge of pre-processing. Suyu was in charge of twisting straw ropes. In less than a full day, a large roll of straw rope was piled up in front of the house. It could make at least 10 pairs of straw sandals. All the straw in Auntie's field has been moved. Suyu looked at the large coil of straw rope beside her, then at the pile of straw stacked inside the house. She nodded, relieved them of their carrying task, and transferred them to the rope twisting instruction group. We need to have the straw sandals ready by tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, at the old Lu family residence, Old Man Lu held a bowl of bitter tea, sitting on the doorstep, peering toward the east end of the village. Soon 2 figures came running from that direction. Grandpa, someone stole all the straw from our field. Who stole it? Some lowlife. It was Dalong and Erlang from 3rd uncle's family. Someone saw them carrying loads back and forth. Oh, then it's nothing. Grandpa, you promised to make me a new straw bed today. I'm so mad. I'm going to get our straw back right now. Uncle and nephew rolled up their sleeves and headed toward the village. You 2 stop right there. You 2 stop right there. Only when Old Man Lu got angry and shouted again, did the 2 turn around, faces full of grievance and annoyance. Your mother has dinner ready. Eat first. Did you leave it on purpose for them to steal? At first he was just suspicious. Usually, after the rice is cut, we bring it back to dry, afraid that the villagers with sticky fingers would steal it. But Dad insisted on leaving 1 acre, saying we were busy, and would harvest the wheat there later. Seeing that the old man didn't refute, Lu Fei's anger flared up, both hurt and mad. Jinbao, the straw at home isn't enough for the bed. The straw under Jinbao's bed has all been gnawed away by rats. Winter is coming. How can he sleep on that bed? If you don't care about me, fine. But Jinbao is your eldest grandson. As his grandfather, don't you feel for him? Brat, is that how you talk to your father? It's my land. I'll do whatever I want with it. What business is it of yours to yap? Dad, why are you so biased? What's so good about third brother anyway? What's good about him? Nothing. He's good for nothing. I wish I'd never had that wretched son. And you, if you talk back to me again, I'll teach this unfilial brat a lesson. With that, he raised his tea bowl to hit Lu Fei. Luckily, family members came and separated them, and Lu Fei escaped. 7th Zhang quickly signaled her youngest son to go inside, while she patted old man Lu on the back. The straw in the field. He had already guessed. Winter was coming. And third brother's house had only that newly arrived stepmother who knew nothing. If they didn't leave them some straw, how would they survive the winter? But Zhang Shi was also angry inside. It's been 2 days since third brother got into trouble, and he hasn't come by once. Could he really be hoping third brother dies out there and never comes back? Old man Lu was startled. No, that can't be. The couple exchanged a glance, feeling a bad premonition. At the dinner table, Zhang Shi was preoccupied. She put down her bowl and ordered her eldest grandson. Jinbao, go to your third aunt's house and see what they're doing. Come back and tell me. When Lu Jinbao crept over stealthily, Suyu was in the kitchen preparing dinner. She lit a fire and set up the pot to cook a loofah and green soup. She hadn't cooked in 10 years. In the apocalypse, everyone ate dry rations, only boiling water occasionally for instant noodles. So Suyu's cooking skills were basically non-existent. But at the sight of that pot of watery soup, the 4 siblings gulped. Even without salt, they ate it with gusto. A steaming bowl of vegetable soup, together with boiled taro, made Sanlang's little face look completely content. Big brother, if only we could have vegetable soup and taro every day. Eat up, don't think too much. No ambition, you're satisfied with just a bowl of soup. Not me, I'm going to eat white rice with fatty meat one day. That's not bad, judging by the living standard of the villagers in Lu village. White rice and fatty meat were already top tier. Even a family like Old Man Lu's might not have white rice and 2 slices of fatty meat. Even during festivals, after the meal, Suyu called the 2 older boys to help her twist straw rope. The brothers were weak, but with practice, the rope they twisted would be usable. Suyu began weaving straw sandals by firelight. This time she made sandals that could cover the feet for work. Much more refined. But considering the market in Lu village, Suyu would rather spend more effort. If they didn't sell in Lu village, she could take them to other villages. Someone would want them. Filling their stomachs was more important for now. The taros in the mountains wouldn't last them through the winter. Lu Ji's house was not far from the river. The sound of flowing water clearly audible. Suyu couldn't help but calm down inside. She looked toward the river and spotted Lu Jinbao hiding behind a short bush behind the house. Watching quietly, Suyu pretended not to notice, to see what he was up to. But the kid just crouched there, watched them finish dinner, then ran off. Suyu found it strange and lowered her head to continue weaving straw sandals. Of course, it was also possible that old man Lu had discovered the straw in his field was gone and sent the boy to check. But the straw had already been woven into sandals. So even if he came, it wouldn't help. The next day at dawn, Suyu took Dalong and Erling up the mountain to chop firewood. The mountain was dangerous for the 2 brothers, so they never dared to go into the woods to gather firewood. They only picked up fallen branches at the foot of the mountain. On the way to the foot of the mountain, Suyu asked curiously, "How did you get through winters in previous years?" "There's a charcoal seller in the village. He makes charcoal. Sometimes there are leftover charcoal bits in a kiln. My brother and I would go pick them up." "Pick up? Or steal?" The brothers fell silent. Suyu looked at them and said seriously, "Don't ever steal again. We'll stockpile our own firewood. There's no need for that anymore." Dalong and Erling froze for a moment, then turned angry and embarrassed, thinking she was being out of touch with reality. They quickened their pace ahead. Suyu laughed inwardly. It seemed that with a full stomach for 2 days, they had more strength. Good, then they can carry more firewood back. Halfway up the slope, Suyu picked a spot with dense trees, threw down the rope, told the brothers to wait on a flat clearing, grabbed the hatchet, and plunged into the thicket. First, she cut 2 forked branches and made a 3-legged firewood rack for Dalong. Then she went deeper to chop wood. She worked very fast and soon had a pile. Dalong and Erlang exchanged a delighted glance. So much firewood, but soon they realized, isn't this too much? Dalong thought the stepmother would carry it back in batches, but Suyu tied it into 2 bundles, hoisted them up and walked off. She even felt it was still a bit light, so she picked a few more pieces from Dalong's rack and stuffed them in. Only then did she signal them to pack up and go home. The 3 of them came down the mountain and had to cross through the village fields to get home. The villagers first noticed the firewood balanced across Dalong's shoulder. Getting closer, they saw a forked stick holding the wood, and Dalong was holding the 2 protruding legs, resting it on his shoulder, walking easily. But the amount of firewood was even bigger than a tied bundle. Why hadn't they thought of making a firewood rack before? It doesn't look hard, just a plank across 2 branches, but it's easier on the shoulders. Then her gaze was unconsciously drawn to 2 large bundles of firewood moving by themselves. That bundle of firewood together Must be 250 Jean. Aya, isn't that third brother Lu's new wife? How did she become so strong? The villagers watched in a daze as the mother and 3 children walked past, until they were out of sight. Their jaws, dropped in shock, slowly closed. Then the news that third brother Lu had married a strong woman spread throughout the village. In the evening, Suyu led the 4 siblings to set up a stall near the village well with the finished straw sandals. She raised her chin at the 4 children standing in a row. Sanlang and Silang spread a tattered straw mat under a tree. Dalong and Erlang untied the 10 pairs of straw sandals they had been carrying, laid them out, and Suyu straightened them. She put a wooden sign on the ground. Straw sandals, 3 when per pair. Although they feared the strong she-devil, the villagers couldn't help but curiously gather around. However, they only recognized the character 4-3. Only a few could read all the characters. Suyu patted Erlang on the shoulder. After observing these past few days, she found that Erlang had the thickest skin and was the most willing to go all out. Erlang took the cue. Immediately, he started hawking. Straw sandals for sale. 3 when a pair 3-1. The villagers were startled. Then they realized it was just selling straw sandals. Only 3-1. You can take home finely woven straw sandals. With 3 when you won't lose out. You won't be cheated. Only 3-1. Only 3-1. You can take away comfortable, durable straw sandals with a golden edge. No money? You can also trade. The price of 3 when per pair was set by Suyu after studying the villagers' spending power and the value of the vegetables she had traded yesterday and calculated it. Sure enough, everyone was tempted by this price and even more tempted by bartering. Although they had just been calling Suyu a she-devil, that after all was just gossip. The price was good. They weren't afraid of that. Straw sandals are needed by every household. A pair of women crouched in front of the stall. Silang immediately picked up a pair of sandals and handed them forward to Shou. "Aunt Zhou, the sandals my mother made are really good. Why don't you buy a pair?" Suyu was a bit surprised. She thought Silang was timid and clingy. Didn't expect her to take the initiative to sell. The kids were so hardworking. Suyu, as an adult, felt embarrassed just standing there. She put on a smile, took the initiative to explain how sturdy her sandals were woven. The woman called Aunt Zhou by Silang looked them over repeatedly. These sandals are indeed well made. The size also matched her husband's feet. Lately, the men in the family have been working in the fields a lot. The straw sandals on their feet are already worn out, just thinking of getting new ones. "Dear lady, I'll take 2 pairs. Can you make it any cheaper?" "Okay, it's the first sale of the day. 5 went for 2 pairs for you." Got a bargain. Sister-in-law Zhou was happy. She took out the selected sandals and put them aside, gestured for Suyu to wait for her, then ran home to get copper coins. Counted out 5 when 3 times before handing them to Suyu. Delightedly took away 2 pairs of straw sandals. The business made 1 sale, but it was 2 pairs. The 4 Lu siblings all smiled. Erling shouted even more energetically. Silang specifically targeted those aunties, because she found that aunties actually had money in their pockets. Sanlang saw his little sister being so brave, mustered his courage and followed. "Wanna buy sandals? Why not buy a pair?" The brother and sister worked together and sold another pair, looked at Suyu in surprise and delight, with faces begging for praise. The straw sandals sold more and more smoothly. Someone brought in used bowls from home to trade. 5 rough porcelain bowls with a few chips were traded for a pair of sandals. Another mother brought 3 eggs and traded for a pair. Unknowingly, it got dark. Every family went home to eat. In the end, only Suyu and the 5 children remained. Excitedly, they counted today's earnings under the tree. One evening, 6 pairs of straw sandals sold. Got 11 copper coins, 5 rough porcelain bowls, and 3 eggs. 1 egg can be sold for 1 won. Save up more. Wait until market day. Take them to town to sell. That's several won too. Suyu counted out 6 copper coins, preparing to buy some oil and salt. Told the 4 siblings to wait where they were. She herself hurried toward the peddler's house. Peddler Lu's house was easy to find. Because a stall was set up at the door, it could be seen at a glance. Arriving closer, she saw their neatly stacked high stone courtyard walls. Suyu deeply envied them, but she firmly believed her own family would soon have one too. "Who is it?" "Someone to buy something. I want to buy some oil and salt." The door creaked open. Peddler Lu's wife looked doubtfully at the door. This slender-figured, clear-featured woman. "You are." "I'm from Lu Ji's place, at the far end of the village." "My name is Suyu. Just arrived in the village." "Sister-in-law, you may not have seen me before." "Yunyang, who is it?" Peddler Lu also came over. He had seen Suyu once, recognized at a glance that she was from third brother Lu's family. Suyu nodded. Yunyang looked more, and Suyu felt more sympathy for him. She looks capable, and can even weave straw sandals. Yet she married that scoundrel Lu Ji. Truly a hard life. Seeing Suyu so thin, Yunyang nudged her husband. "In town, straw sandals are 5 or 6 won a pair. You help the young sister-in-law sell them. Give the money directly to the young sister-in-law. It won't take much trouble to bring them back." The implication was, don't charge a middleman fee. No. Business is business. Everyone's life is hard. You also need to make money. I sell them at the village well, 3 won a pair. If you take them, I'll give you 2 pairs for 5 won. How about that? Peddler Lu quietly pried open his wife's hand that was pinching his arm. All right, I'll take them to sell first. Once sold, give the money to the young sister-in-law. How's that? Suyu readily handed over the 4 pairs of straw sandals in her hand. Then I'll leave it to you. If they sell well, I still have more stock. Can make sizes for men, women, and children. Sure. Young sister-in-law, how much oil and salt do you need? Suyu felt embarrassed by her empty purse. Can only buy 2 liang of vegetable oil. 2 liang of coarse salt. Not too much, not too little, exactly 6-1. She didn't bring a container. Yunyang kindly lent her a bamboo tube for the oil. The salt was wrapped in banana leaves, handed together to Suyu. Then tomorrow early morning, I'll have Dalong return the bamboo tube to you. Holding the oil and salt, she left. Arriving at the village well, the 4 Lu siblings immediately surrounded her, excitedly looking at the bamboo tube and banana leaf in her hand. Smelling the aroma of vegetable oil, their already hungry stomachs growled. Ha ha ha, let's go. Go home and cook. The 4 siblings nodded in unison, their eyes sparkling. They trotted all the way home, especially looking forward to dinner tonight. As soon as they got home, Dalong replaced the old pottery bowls, took one out, and lined it with straw, intended to use it for storing eggs. Even though seeing the eggs made them drool with craving, they never thought of eating them. Such precious things. Save them up to sell for money. Can buy more brown rice. A few more meals. It was Dalong, excited, holding a bowl lined with straw. He came to the kitchen to find Suyu. Just as he was about to speak, his eyes suddenly widened. He saw Suyu swiftly crack 3 eggs and drop them into the already boiling hot water. Stir with chopsticks. Sprinkle in a pinch of salt. Add a drop of vegetable oil. Finally, toss in a handful of wild scallions just picked by the river. Instantly, an irresistible, mouth-watering aroma rushed at him. Lu Dalong, who hadn't touched any meat in 800 years, swallowed hard. Then, without hesitation, he dumped the straw from his bowl. The 4 siblings gathered around the stove, their eyes fixed unblinkingly on the pot. The swirling egg drop soup shimmered with a faint green glow. As usual, Suyu divided the pot of soup into 5 bowls, making sure each bowl had 3 or 4 egg blossoms. The taro had been buried in the fire earlier while cooking. By the time the dishes were done, the taro was cooked too. The half bunch of greens left from yesterday. Suyu stir-fried them with just a bit of oil. A small bowl of eggs. Looked green and fresh. Very appetizing. Food with oil and salt really made a difference. Suyu said, "Let's eat." In the room, aside from the sounds of eating, there were no other noises. After dinner was finished, Dalong took the initiative to clear the dishes and took them to wash clean. Suyu moved the straw rope to the doorway. By the light of the torch at the door, continued weaving straw sandals. The children at home licked the oil from the corners of their mouths, eagerly did what they could, hoping that tomorrow there would be another good meal like this. In the morning, Suyu took Dalong and Erlang up the mountain to chop firewood for stockpiling. At noon, they stayed home weaving straw sandals. In the afternoon, after the villagers returned from farm work, she took the sandals to the village well to set up a stall and sell them. Every 2 days, she went alone to the southern mountain to dig enough taro for 3 days and return. The rest of the time, she was either weaving sandals or on her way to sell sandals. The first batch of people who bought straw sandals found that Suyu's sandals were comfortable and durable, so they placed a few more orders. The 4 pairs of sandals Suyu had asked peddler Lu to sell on consignment. As soon as they were brought to town, a sharp-eyed farmer bought 2 pairs in one go, 5 per pair. Peddler Lu made half the profit. The remaining 2 pairs he actively promoted and quickly sold as well. Those who didn't buy also pre-ordered several pairs. Thus, Suyu received another order from peddler Lu for 5 pairs each of men's and women's sandals, and settled the payment for the previous 4 pairs. A total of 10 won. These 2 days, sales in the village were decent. With the sold stock and pre-orders combined, Suyu now had a total of 51 copper coins in hand. 51 when seemed like a lot, but couldn't even buy a thin cotton quilt. Suyu sighed. Peddler Lu had returned. Go to his place and buy 2 jin of brown rice. Hearing that the meals would improve again, the 4 siblings' eyes all turned to look. Erlang eagerly took the money and dashed off. Dalong, worried, followed him. Sanlang and Silang sat on small wooden stools, watching their brothers' departing backs, licking their lips in anticipation. They were both young. Suyu didn't let them work. She wanted to improve the health of the 2 little ones. If conditions allowed, Dalong and Erlang also needed to be well nourished. But there was no way. The current conditions simply didn't allow it. These past few days, she had relied heavily on these 2 little helpers, so that she wasn't completely in the dark. Bought the brown rice, bought. The 2 brothers hurried home excitedly. These days, following Suyu, they had full bellies. You could see their complexions had improved a lot. When Lu Bo led Jinbao back from the fields and saw the 2 brothers running toward him, he almost didn't recognize them. Dalong, Erlang. The 2 boys stopped in their tracks, turned their heads to look. Erlang even tightened his grip on the clay pot in his arms. Looking wary, seeing it was their uncle, they relaxed. Where are you 2 going? It's going to rain in a couple of days. Are the wheat seeds at home finished planting? The 2 boys said nothing, glanced at him, turned, and ran off. Uncle Lu Bo sighed helplessly. He wanted to discipline these 2 poor nephews, but seeing the brothers' silent demeanor, felt like he was wasting his kindness on them. He was quite annoyed. Forget it, let them be. Even their own father doesn't care about them. Dad, we don't have to go to the fields tomorrow, right? No need. We've finished planting. After all this hard work, we can finally catch our breath. Lu Jinbao was overjoyed. Finally no more field work. The 2 returned home famished. The women had just finished preparing the meal. From another field, Old Man Lu and Lu Zhong, Lu Fei came in right after. The whole family picked up their bowls and started eating. Suddenly, the courtyard door was knocked. Seeing who it was, everyone was full of surprise. Suyu stood at the door, calling out greetings. The 2 brothers were forced to greet each person in turn. Zhang Shi probed, 3rd brother's wife. Have you eaten? Yes, we have. The words just fell, when a sigh of relief was heard. Good, she's not here to freeload a meal. Everyone, keep eating. Don't mind me. I need to discuss something with father and mother. I'll leave after I speak. The old couple's hearts stirred with excitement. Third brother's wife has finally come to borrow money to redeem him, but outwardly, they pretended to be puzzled. Motioning for the family to continue eating, called Su-yu and her 3 children into the main hall. But unexpectedly, Su-yu's first words. I've come to buy wheat seeds from you. The old couple was stunned. Not going to say third? Su-yu certainly noticed the rapidly changing emotions in the old couple's eyes. But so what? Lu Ji, by now, he should already be beaten half to death. Having survived the apocalypse for so long, Su-yu also had her own way of survival. Anything or anyone that threatened her own safety, she would eliminate in advance. Given her current situation, Lu Ji being gone was the optimal solution. So Su-yu pretended not to sense the old couple's emotions. 2 Jin of wheat seeds. Name your price. Just now, as soon as Dalong and Erling got home, they told her about running into Uncle Lu Bo. Su-yu thought it over. She might as well plant those 2 mu of land. If she didn't plant, she'd get nothing. Planted. Perhaps after surviving this winter, they might still harvest some grain. You haven't started planting wheat yet? No telling when the rain will come. Before, the household was in that state. I've only just recovered a bit these past few days. I was thinking of planting those 2 mu. Next year, at least there'd be some yield. Father, I've never farmed before. Please, could you give me some guidance? Su-yu's words were true. The original family situation was actually not bad. If not for the natural disasters and warfare, with many brothers at home, and plenty of land, it would never have been her turn to work the fields. Old man Lu hadn't expected that she didn't even know how to farm, but he couldn't say much. With the matter of his 3rd son weighing on his heart, and seeing Su-yu's indifferent attitude, he felt somewhat angry. He shot a glance at Zhang Shi for her to go get the wheat seeds. Fortunately, he had set aside some extra seeds earlier. After planting the family's fields, there was some left. Otherwise, if Su-yu came asking, he wouldn't have any to give. The Lu family old house folks were actually struggling too. Their clothes were patched over patches. They ate nothing but brown rice. This old house just had a few more rooms than Su-yu's place. Just one more wall to build. The father and sons worked from the start of the year to the end. And even then, they could barely feed the 9 mouths in this household. Not to mention that good-for-nothing Lu Ji, whatever little money they saved, was basically spent on cleaning up his mess. Zhang Shi handed Su-yu the jar of wheat seeds, carefully instructing her on how to plant the fields. Su-yu noted all the details, confidently thinking it wouldn't be hard. I'll give it a try tomorrow. I should be able to figure it out. Then she pulled out 5 copper coins. I've never bought wheat seeds before. I don't know if this is enough. Zhang Shi's eyes went wide as if she'd seen a ghost. When Su-yu said she was coming to buy wheat seeds, she thought it was just polite talk. After all, with third brother's character, it would be a miracle if he didn't come asking them for money. But now it seemed, third brother and his wife really weren't cut from the same cloth. Su-yu saw Zhang Shi's astonished face, and without bothering whether it was enough money, shoved the coins into her hand. Taking the wheat seeds, she called Dalong and Erlang to leave. After they had walked a few steps, uncles Lu Bo and Lu Zhong suddenly caught up. Each pulled out a handful of copper coins, pulled them together, and handed them to Su-yu. We don't have much either. But third brother's life is at stake. Take this first to ransom him back. We'll figure out the rest later. Mom said Lin Erbao has a black mind. People who mess with him, he won't outright kill them. He'll just throw them down the mine to work off the debt. Third brother might be okay. This time he's learned his lesson, and he'll straighten up from now on. The two of you need to make a go of it together. Su-yu raised an eyebrow. This Lu Ji was such a mess, yet he still had family to back him up. It was truly unbelievable. Dalong and Erling both looked at the woman expectantly, hoping she would take the money. No need. This money isn't enough to ransom him. Taking it would just be throwing it into a bottomless pit. You two keep it for yourselves. With that, she turned and strode homeward, her eyes growing colder and colder. Dalong and Erling hesitated, glancing at their two uncles, then lowered their heads and ran after Su-yu. Lu Zhong helplessly took a few steps after them, wondering how this mother and her sons could run so fast. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared into the night. He stopped and turned back to look helplessly at Lu Bo. Brother, why wouldn't she take the money? The two brothers went home and told the story of how Su-yu refused the money. She's not someone who wants to settle down with third brother. If third brother doesn't change his ways, he'll always be a bottomless pit. Forget it, forget it. Let's think of another way. In the night, a strong wind suddenly picked up. Su-yu was jolted awake from her sleep. The moment she opened her eyes, there was a starry sky. The thatch on the roof had been blown off by the wind, leaving a big hole right above. The wind was still howling, and the few thin roof beams were trembling incessantly. She heard the sound of plaster falling from the walls. The whole house felt like it was about to collapse. Oh no, this house isn't going to cave in, is it? From the next room came Siling's frightened cry. Mother! Su-yu quickly pushed aside her shock, hurried out of bed, put on her shoes, opened the door, and ran out. Dalong, Erling, Siling, come out quickly. The four children were huddled tightly on the bed, staring in panic as the thatch was ripped off piece by piece above their heads. Siling was so scared she kept calling out, Mother! Dalong tried to act calm, holding his younger siblings in his arms. Su-yu's heart tightened. Why aren't you running yet? She rushed over, scooped up Sanlang and Siling in one go, and shouted at Dalong and Erlang. Get out now! The house is going to collapse. The house is going to collapse. The four children were terrified. Dalong and Erling tumbled out of bed, too panicked to even put on shoes, and ran out barefoot after Su-yu. On the open ground, the five of them huddled together, watching the house anxiously as the thatch flew in the wind. looking as if it could come crashing down at any moment. They waited and waited, until the wind finally died down. That flimsy little house somehow still stood stubbornly before them, but looking at the thatch scattered on the ground, and the roof that was now just beams and a few remaining pieces of thatch. A thatched house. So you didn't know whether to be relieved or sad. The house was saved, but re-roofing it would definitely cost a lot of money, and she only had 40 copper coins left in her pocket. She felt like heaven was trying to destroy her. The four little ones didn't understand her inner despair. Seeing the house still standing, they were quite delighted. Mother, the house is okay. Suyu shot a glance at the overly excited Erlang. Erlang's excited glance. You call this okay? Her resentment was palpable. Erlang shuddered and quickly covered his mouth. When the sky began to lighten with a fish-belly glow, the mess was clearly visible everywhere. Suyu rubbed her throbbing temples, told the four siblings to stand still and not move, and strode quickly toward the village. She went to ask the Lu family for help. When they heard the roof had been blown off, old man Lu didn't hesitate. He called on his three sons, grabbed their tools, and rushed over to Lu Ji's place. Suyu followed behind, watching the four father and son figures in their hurry. The coldness in her heart melted a little. The villagers had all kinds of handy skills. Fixing a roof was nothing for old man Lu and his three sons. It's nothing. They looked at the bare roof frame, and without a word, got to work. Lu Fei picked up the usable thatch pieces that had fallen to the ground. All of them. Lu Bo and Lu Zhong saw it wasn't enough, so they hurried off to cut grass by the riverbank. Old man Lu went home, carried over a ladder, and climbed onto the roof. He took the thatch pieces Lu Fei tossed up and relayed them. In just one morning, the four of them had rethatched and reinforced the roof. They also placed heavy stones on the four corners, so the wind wouldn't blow it off again. Suyu, grateful, cooked all the brown rice she had bought yesterday into porridge. The father and sons had lunch at home before leaving. Old man Lu drank the thick brown rice porridge in his bowl, watching the mother and her children squatting by the stove, eating taro. He seemed to want to say something, but stopped. In the end, he said nothing. He set down his empty bowl and led Lu Bo and the others away. Better plant those 2 mu of land soon. It might rain in a couple of days. Suyu agreed, saw them off a few steps, and then came back. She called Dalong, shouldered the hoe, picked up the jar of wheat seeds, and headed toward the 2 mu of land by the mountain. Erlang stayed home to look after the twins. Suyu thought, with the farming tips she got from Zhang Shi yesterday, planting a field wouldn't be that troublesome. She didn't expect to be proven wrong so fast, but didn't expect to be proven wrong so quickly. Lu Ji's 2 mu of land had already been dug once before, so you just had to dig holes, drop in the wheat seeds, and cover them up. Yet from mid-afternoon till dusk, she only managed to plant 1/10. She stared in disbelief at the vast remaining field, wondering if her eyes were playing tricks on her. Even worse, she felt that her body, which had just started to recover, could barely take much more. She turned to look at Dalong, sitting on the ridge with his face red from the sun. Both mother and son saw despair in each other's eyes, thinking she had to come back tomorrow and endure this torture again. Suyu felt like crying, but had no tears. Remembering how old man Lu and his 3 sons worked from dawn till dusk, day in and day out, tending to their 100+ mu of land, Suyu instantly felt deep respect for them. The sun was about to set. Strange bird calls came from the mountains. Mother, it's getting dark. Suyu was so beaten down by the farming, she didn't even want to talk. She waved at Dalong, and the 2 of them walked home under the moonlight. By the stove, Suyu gnawed on a roasted taro, thinking to herself, she'd have to go into the mountains. Farming? No way she was going to farm. She never wanted to farm again in this lifetime. Early the next morning, Suyu first went up the mountain to dig enough taro to last 4 days. Then she picked up a sickle and went to the place where the villagers usually gathered firewood. She chopped a full load of firewood. The sun was already halfway up the sky. After returning home, Suyu didn't rest. She ate a few taros to fill her stomach. Taking all the money from home, she walked briskly toward the neighboring village, Shaha village. In the village there was a blacksmith, who usually made a living by forging farm tools. In this village, there was also a well-known hunter family across the region. All the men in the family were hunters. It was said they once even killed a spotted tiger. They had a certain reputation around Jinshi town. Suyu first went to the blacksmith shop and haggled, and exchanged 30 won for a worn-out short knife. She weighed it in her hand and swung it a few times. The blacksmith looked at her in surprise. Young lady, you handle this knife really well. Suyu put away the knife and gave him a faint smile. Master, do you know the way to the hunter's house? Of course the blacksmith knew. He pointed toward a solitary house halfway up the eastern hillside. Suyu thanked him and left. It was noon. The hunter's door was ajar. Suyu called out twice. A spirited, old woman came out. She thought Suyu was there to buy meat. There's none left. Everything's been taken to town. I came to borrow some hunting tools from your family. Afterward, I'll repay you with 1/10 of the catch as commission. Is that okay? It was the first time the old woman had heard someone asking to borrow hunting tools. She was stunned for a moment before reacting. I can't decide this on my own. You'll have to wait until my son comes back. So, Suyu sat down under the big tree in front of the hunter's house. She waited until the sun was setting in the west. Before the 2 brothers returned, Granny Yang told her 2 sons about Suyu's request. The brothers looked at Suyu suspiciously as they walked over. They weren't exactly refusing to lend the tools, but they were afraid Suyu might damage their things. More importantly, they didn't believe Suyu could actually catch anything. If I don't catch anything, I'll also compensate for the wear and tear, with the appropriate repair costs. Seeing how shabby she looked, they softened and waved her over, letting her come inside to choose. Their family were hunters, making a living by hunting. They had a full set of hunting tools at home, all well maintained. They had made a big haul just yesterday, so they had no plans to go again soon. Deep in these mountains there were man-eating beasts, not to mention countless venomous insects and snakes. Suyu picked a bow and hurried back as fast as she could, finally making it before the sky was completely dark, to the old Liu family house. Seeing her carrying a bow and arrows, and holding a short knife, the people in the old residence were a bit stunned. I really can't farm. Tomorrow I plan to go into the mountains. At least 3 to 5 days. Maybe 7 or 8. As for the remaining wheat seeds at home, I'd like to ask you 2 elder brothers to plant them for me. Also, the 4 children at home. While I'm away, please trouble you 2 sisters-in-law to look after them. Eldest sister-in-law, I know this isn't enough, so the extra I'll owe for now. I'll make it up later. Having said that, she turned and left decisively, leaving the old Liu residence, with everyone, young and old, dumbfounded in the wind. Mrs. Zhang decided to reconsider her opinion of Suyu from the past 2 days. Now she thought, like husband, like wife. This new wife of the 3rd son is as thick-skinned as Liu Ji, cut from the same cloth. Suyu got up before dawn. She boiled a full pot of water, filled a bamboo tube with it, and boiled 10 taros. She tucked a fire striker into her pocket, carried the bow and arrows on her back, and rewrapped the short knife handle with cloth strips. Everything was ready. With the first light of dawn appearing on the horizon, she headed toward the layered mountain ranges in the north. As soon as she left, the side door quietly opened. Dalong and Erlang led their younger siblings. Their stepmother had told them last night that she would go hunting in the mountains, and told them to take good care of themselves at home. When she came back, they'd have meat to eat. They were happy, but also worried that the woman might be in danger. On the other side, Suyu had already entered the outer reaches of the North Mountain. Once in the mountains, she felt like a fish in water, the environment similar to the mutated jungle of the apocalypse. This quickly put her into hunter mode. Birds and small animals in the forest kept scurrying past her from time to time. Suyu took down her bow, knocked an arrow, and shot it into the sky with a whoosh. She heard a bird's shrill cry, and then a gray shadow fell from between the bushes, fluttering and crashing down. Suyu pushed aside the waist-high wild grass in front of her, and hurried toward where it fell. A gray bird with an arrow in its wing was struggling in the fallen leaves, crying pitifully. I still need to work on my aim. Suyu pulled out the arrow with some regret, picked up the plump gray bird that could no longer fly, tied its wings with a rope, and hung it at her waist. She continued onward. As she walked, she used every animal and bird she encountered to regain her familiar feel. By the time evening came, her body was already covered with various half-dead small animals. There were pheasants, wild birds, small squirrels, and a nest of rabbits. That nest of rabbits was a real surprise. She had been chasing a squirrel up a tree, when unexpectedly, a rabbit head suddenly appeared on a small mound ahead. Suyu took one look, and thought, how could she let prey that came to her get away? With lightning speed, she found several rabbit holes nearby, sealed them with stones, leaving only one exit. She burned a handful of damp fallen leaves, and smoked them out with thick smoke. All 7 rabbits from the nest ran out. She caught them alive. Each rabbit was quite large. You could tell they were a family. 2 big ones were plump, and the 5 little ones were also well-grown. Their gray fur was glossy and shiny. Suyu didn't like eating rabbit meat, but she loved rabbit fur. Made into clothes, gloves, or scarves, they'd be so warm in winter. Because she was carrying this nest of rabbits, the woman had to stop at a nearby sheltered hollow. The taros she had brought were all eaten, and the water was only a third left. A thin trickle of water seeped from the rocky cliff of the hollow. Suyu used a common stick from the forest, and dug a small pit. After a while, the water collected, and formed a small puddle. The sky was completely dark. She built a fire, killed the bird that had already struggled itself into exhaustion, and roasted it. Her physical exertion today was great. One bird was far from enough to replenish her energy. Suyu also roasted the pheasant. The roasted meat was coated with a layer of fat. Each bite was fragrant and juicy. Having had no meat for a long time, she wolfed it down. Before long, she had devoured the bird and the pheasant clean. After eating, she added a few pieces of wood to the fire, and then Suyu rested. She needed to conserve her strength. The temperature difference between day and night in the mountains was large. The woman could only cover herself with fallen leaves, which kept her warm, and also hid her, so she wouldn't be discovered by large predators out hunting. In the middle of the night, a light rain began to fall. The fire was put out. A cold wind blew over her. Suyu shivered from the chill, snapped awake instantly. Beasts don't like to come out in the rain. The woman left in the rain, continuing to search for a place. Finally, as the sky began to lighten, she found a natural cave hidden among the weeds. Her clothes were completely soaked. Suyu was both tired and sleepy, but didn't dare rest. She gathered some broken branches that weren't too wet, and built a fire in the cave. With the fire, the rapidly dropping temperature inside her body finally began to warm up. Only then did Suyu have a moment to observe her surroundings. It was a naturally formed cave. The space inside wasn't large, but the height was decent, and there was no animal dung inside, which meant it wasn't the den of some animal. It was simply a perfect base. The woman immediately decided she would stay here for the next few days. One morning, Suyu cleaned all 7 rabbits thoroughly. The peeled skins were in excellent condition. She treated them simply with plant ash. After roasting all the meat together, she could just reheat it whenever she wanted to eat. By noon, the rain had completely stopped. Suyu concealed the cave entrance, grabbed her weapon, and set out to find a water source. Along the way, Suyu noticed many traces of animals passing by, mostly wolves and monkeys. There was at least 1 monkey troop and 1 wolf pack nearby. Suyu avoided them all the way. On the road to the water source, she shot 2 arrows. She caught a yellow marten and a roe deer. After yesterday's practice, her arrow aim was now very accurate. She deliberately left them alive, not hitting any vital spots. There's no shortage of branches in the forest, so you cut a thick branch, tied the 2 catches to it, and carried them to the water source. It was a small pond naturally formed in a depression at the mountain peak. The water was shallow and clear, and surprisingly, there were fish in it. Even stranger, the fish here didn't even try to dodge. She caught them one after another with ease. In no time, Suyu had caught 6 fish, each weighing 2 or 3 jin. She strung them all together with grass rope and hung them on the other end of the pole. She also filled a bamboo tube with water. At dusk, the mountain beasts are most active. Suyu left the water source early, carrying the day's catch and hiding nearby to observe. About 2 kilometers from the water source, she found a pile of fresh droppings. Suyu recognized it at a glance. This was from an adult black bear. Her heart leaped with joy. She intended not to miss this great gift. It was almost dark. Suyu returned to the cave with the day's haul. As she roasted fish for a snack, she thought about how to lure the black bear out, but the weather wasn't on her side. It started raining again at night, and it rained intermittently for 2 straight days. Suyu lay in the cave, looking at the struggling hare and yellow marten, along with a few pheasants and squirrels she'd caught casually. She wasn't willing to just go down the mountain like this. She decided to keep waiting for the right moment. For days had passed since Suyu entered the mountains. Luckily, Uncle Lu Bo and the 2 brothers had already finished planting the wheat seeds Suyu left behind on the first day. Inside the thatched cottage at the far end of Liujia village, Lu Dalong and Lu Erlang had lit a fire in the room, but the wind kept leaking in, so even by the fire, they were still cold in the end. The 4 siblings, thinly dressed, directly moved to the bed, and finally felt a little warmer. They hadn't seen Suyu for several days. Siling counted on her fingers day by day, asking Big Brother every day, "When will Mother come back? Is she never coming back? Don't talk nonsense. She'll come back when the rain stops." Sanling was quiet for a moment, then couldn't help frowning and said worriedly, "Second brother, do you think she might have already been eaten by a beast?" As soon as the words fell, Siling burst into tears. "What? No, don't let Mother be eaten by a beast." Her crying silenced the other 3 in the room. After 3 seconds of silence, Sanling couldn't hold it in and started crying too. "She doesn't want us anymore. She must have run away." "Big brother, did she really run away?" Dalong looked at the twin siblings crying pitifully, then looked at Erlang, whose face was full of unease. The doubt he had harbored for days seemed to be confirmed. A surge of bitterness and anger at being deceived and abandoned welled up inside him. He was about to grit his teeth and scold the younger ones. "Don't think about her anymore," when suddenly there was a knock at the door. "Dalong, Erlang, open up. It's your auntie. Have you eaten yet? I steamed some brown rice cornbread. Come out and get it. Why are you 2 crying? Did I come too late? Are you hungry?" "Third brother's wife. I don't know when she'll be back." "For the next few days? Just come to the old house for meals." Before she left, she gave me coppers to buy grain and told me to look after the 4 of you and your meals. Dalong looked up in shock. "She left you money? She didn't just sneak away and abandon us." He Deseo nodded, seeing the 2 little ones munching on the cornbread and forgetting to cry. She muttered under her breath, annoyed, "Your stepmother is just like your father, thicker skinned than the rammed earth under the city wall. She left just a few coppers to feed the 4 of you. I don't know how much I'll have to chip in. It's been 4 days already. No telling how much longer before she comes back. The deep mountains aren't so easy to go into. A weak woman like her, if she stopped mid-sentence, only to find 4 children staring at her wide-eyed, looking like wild animals ready to bite her. If she dared say a single bad word about their stepmother." He Deseo quickly shut her mouth. She sighed, shoved the remaining 2 cornbreads in the basket to Dalong and Erling, and reminded them again to come to the old house for meals morning and evening. "I don't have time to bring them to you every day. There's plenty of work at home." Then she muttered another quiet remark. "Quite protective, aren't they?" She then hurried off with the empty basket. As soon as he Deseo left, the 4 siblings, who had been so worried moments before, immediately put on smiles. Biting into the still warm brown rice cornbread, they realized their stepmother hadn't abandoned them. She had even asked Danny to take care of them. "Big brother, she'll definitely catch some game and come back," said Erlang, looking at the clearing sky, a deep, boundless blue that filled the heart with infinite hope. He said with certainty, "She's so strong. She definitely can." Dalong raised his eyes toward the rolling northern mountains, the corners of his mouth lifting. "Eat up. After eating, boil some water. Wipe your faces. You're so dirty." Siling finished eating first, and then obediently sat on the doorstep, waiting for her brothers to boil the water, so she could wash her face first. Mother loves clean, well-behaved babies. Siling listens to Mother. "I'll be a clean, good baby." After cleaning themselves up, Dalong and Erling silently picked up brooms and began sweeping the house. Suyu, perched in a tree, couldn't help sneezing hard. The sneeze made the knife in her hand shake, almost causing her to be swiped off by the standing black bear's paw. Luckily, her combat instincts honed in the apocalypse were still there. The moment the bear paw came swinging, her body instinctively dodged. But just because of that dodge, the black bear, which she had been keeping pinned under the tree, suddenly jumped and scrambled up the tree. 1 person and 1 bear stood on a single branch, less than 2 meters apart. They looked at each other. Suyu didn't hesitate for a second. She took her sword and drew her bow, swiftly released an arrow. Unsurprisingly, it hit the black bear, but it wasn't very powerful. It only scratched its fur. Instead, it made the bear even more furious. Roaring, it lunged straight at Suyu. As the black bear pounced, Suyu had already switched to a sharp short knife and turned sideways. She bent her knees and raised the blade, using 90% of her strength. Aiming at the only pale spot on the bear, its belly, she struck with a fierce blow. Roars shook half the mountain range. A miserable roar sounded. The black bear, still filled with murderous rage a moment ago, fell to the ground in an instant. A dull thud echoed. Suyu, holding the blood-stained knife in one hand, used her full body weight to stab the bear as it writhed in pain on the ground. After a short, mournful cry, the black bear breathed its last in defeat. Suyu pulled the knife out of the bear she was kneeling on. She casually raised a hand to wipe the warm bear blood off her face, looking down at the dead bear beneath her. A wild grin spread across her face. With this, the winter should be much easier to get through. After dragging the black bear back to the cave, the sky had completely darkened. The bear weighed about 700 caddies, so you couldn't carry it easily. So she made a simple stretcher from branches and dragged it back. The next morning at first light, the woman loaded the bear and other game all onto the drag sled. She set off down the mountain. She didn't take the same path she came from. Instead, she went around the mountain range, heading straight toward the county town of Kaiyang. The Sacred Kingdom had no curfew, but the city gates closed at the end of the hour. No entry or exit allowed. Suyu dragged the heavy game, hurrying as fast as she could. She finally entered Kaiyang County just before the gates closed. An entry fee was required to enter the city, one per person. Suyu, at the city gate, sold one wild pheasant that weighed a bit over 4 caddies, exchanged for 81. She paid the fee and was allowed to enter the city. The guards at the gates saw her dragging the black bear on the sled. Their expressions went from disbelief to wide-eyed shock. In less than the time it takes to burn an incense stick, someone had hunted a black bear, and the news that it was coming into the city to be sold reached the ears of the managers of 2 city restaurants. Is it true? Absolutely true. Manager, I've never seen such a huge black bear in my life. Its head is bigger than 2 of mine. You'd better go quickly. If you're late, the restaurant across the street will buy it. At that time, Suyu was eating at a wonton stall near the city gate. She ordered 5 bowls of pork wontons at once. One bowl cost 40 copper coins. She placed them on the vendor's cutting board and sat down calmly at the only square table. She lifted the bowl and ate one mouthful after another, devouring the food heartily. The vendor's speed in cooking the wontons couldn't keep up with her eating pace. After finishing 3 bowls in a row, the 4th was still in the pot. The vendor wiped the sweat off his forehead. He apologized. Please wait a moment, guest. It's cooking, it's cooking. When Manager Fan arrived, Suyu had just finished the 5th bowl of wontons. She was about 80% full, a look of satisfaction on her face, since she time-traveled until now. This was her first proper meal. Miss? Did you hunt this black bear? Manager Fan asked in surprise. Hearing someone inquire about the bear, Suyu stood up, holding her knife. It's mine. Do you want it? Take the whole thing. I can give you a discount. Manager Fan looked Suyu over once, then looked at the black bear again. He couldn't help asking, did you carry all this down the mountain alone? These catches are still fresh. I killed this black bear yesterday evening. The weather isn't hot, so it's in good condition. Then how much do you want for this black bear, miss? How much will you offer? He had just entered the city and was drawn by the wonton stall. He hadn't had time to find out the going prices for such game. Manager Fan thought for a moment, then tentatively held up a number, 80 taels. Suyu immediately did the math in her head. According to the highest standard of living in Lu family village, a family of 5 spends about 20 taels a year. 80 taels would be 4 years of good food and comfort. That's about right. Bear meat isn't particularly valuable, only a bit more expensive than pork. It can sell for 50 or 61 per caddy. This black bear weighs 700 caddies, taking a middle figure. The meat alone should fetch about 40 taels. The main value is the bear skin and the bear gall, and the bear paws. 40 taels is not bad. All right, deal. 80 taels. Suyu even kindly threw in a wild pheasant as a bonus. Do you want me to deliver it for you? Seeing the manager and the waiter at a loss with the bear carcass, Suyu placed her knife and bow on the sled, then lifted the entire sled up. She tilted her chin at Manager Fan, motioning for him to lead the way. Watching the heavy bear glide past him, Manager Fan was so shocked his jaw nearly dropped. Manager Fan was at a loss for words. Suyu called from ahead. Let's go. I'm still waiting to get paid. With a dull thud, Suyu pulled the bear off the sled and placed it on the banana leaves the restaurant kitchen had laid out. Many restaurant guests also gathered curiously, standing at the kitchen door to see the black bear. Such a huge beast. Some people only see it once in their lifetime. While Suyu was moving the bear, her hands got blood on them. Manager Fan quickly told the waiter to scoop a basin of hot water for her to wash. By the time Suyu finished washing, the head chef and 2 apprentices were discussing whether to call the butcher from the east side of the city to help slaughter it. Even butchering a pig is a skilled job, let alone a bear. Suyu was about to go to the main hall to settle the bill, but when she heard the voices from the kitchen, she leaned in and asked, I can butcher the bear. I can skin and bone it too. I don't want any pay. Just give me a late-night meal and a place to sleep for the night. The head chef was tempted. He immediately sent an apprentice to ask Manager Fan if it was okay. The apprentice ran off and came back quickly. Manager Fan, who was in the main hall putting up the bear special sign, followed him over. Miss, how about this? My restaurant will take all your game. Once I'm done here, I'll settle the whole amount with you. As for the butchering work, we'll pay you the proper fee. Go ahead and start. We have plenty of empty guest rooms here. I'll reserve one for you. Stay here tonight. By now, Manager Fan was certain that Suyu was an extraordinary person. Suyu thanked him generously. She asked the apprentice for an apron, then went into the kitchen to choose her tools. The head chef had a full set of knives, various shapes and sizes. Suyu picked a small, sharp one, and began to work. Her movements were very swift. In the time it takes to burn 2 incense sticks, Suyu had fully removed the bearskin. The 2 apprentices watched her with admiration in their eyes. If their master hadn't been present, they would have knelt down and asked to apprentice themselves to her. Take the bearskin out and hang it on the pole in the backyard first. The manager will find someone to process it later. Suyu switched to a pointed knife and began to separate the bones and paws, as well as the more precious parts like the bear gallbladder. Meanwhile, in the front hall, Manager Fan was busy promoting. In the front hall, Shopkeeper Fan made a big promotional spiel. Already people came wanting to taste the hot bear paw. Suyu chopped the meat, while the head chef fired up the wok and took charge. The whole restaurant was brightly lit, bustling with frantic activity. It didn't stop until late at night when the place closed. The head chef cooked a big pot of mixed stew for everyone. A bowl of noodles per person, 1 big steamed bun, to eat with the soup and vegetables. It was incredibly delicious. After the meal, Suyu was given a regular single room. There was still some hot water in the kitchen. When he asked to bathe, 2 apprentices helped carry the hot water over. Suyu stood by the tub and looked at his reflection, startled by the disheveled female ghost in the water. He hadn't washed or combed his hair in days in the mountains. His body dirty and stinking. He quickly bolted the door, washed his hair and body. He only had the dirty clothes he was wearing. No change, but he couldn't go without clothes. Helpless, he just dusted them off and put them back on. It was already very late. He dumped the water, returned to his room, and fell asleep the moment his head hit the pillow. That night's sleep was the most comfortable Suyu had had since time traveling. Daylight came, and Suyu woke naturally. He washed up quickly, grabbed his bow, arrows, and short knife, and went to the main hall. Manager Fan saw him come out and hurried over to pay him. All the game he had brought in sold for a total of 85 taels and 310 won. Manager Fan gave him 4 20-tael silver coins, plus 5 taels in silver scraps, and 310 copper coins, all packed into a cloth bag and handed to him. When he took the money pouch, it felt heavy, a big lump. Suyu now had some idea what the phrase "a waist full of 10,000 strings" felt like. After leaving the restaurant, Suyu walked all around Kaiyang County, buying everything they were short of. 400 jin of fine rice, 100 jin of refined flour, another 50 jin of soybeans, 50 jin of millet, 600 jin of grain in total. Enough for him and the 4 children to eat for 4 months and get through the winter comfortably. After buying the grain, Suyu went to the cloth shop and bought 3 10 jin cotton quilts, 3 thin blankets, and 3 palm fiber mattresses. He also bought 5 jin of cotton, 1 bolt of the cheapest white cotton cloth, 1 bolt of blue cotton cloth, and 1 bolt of red coarse cloth. He kept the red one for making new clothes for New Year's. The store also sold ready-made clothes, secondhand, probably pawned items from the pawn shop. Suyu saw the price was reasonable, then looked at his own hemp clothes, so filthy they were unwearable, and decisively picked out a set that fit him. He also bought 1 set for each of the 4 children, and a pair of shoes for each of them. Suyu got leather boots for himself, and coarse cloth shoes for the 4 children, all slightly used. Altogether, he spent 10 taels of silver. When he settled the bill, Suyu sucked in a cold breath. No wonder everyone bought materials and made clothes at home. He never left without a woman. Then he went to the general store and bought all the daily essentials: oil, salt, sauce, vinegar, pots, bowls, ladles, and dishes. After purchasing everything, Suyu went to the North City Gate, rented an ox cart for 31, had the driver load the grain he'd bought, and set off for Lu Family Village with a cart full of goods. This load cost him 18 taels of silver. Now he still had 67 taels and 3 chien of silver left. Suyu planned to put away 50 taels untouched for emergencies. The remaining 17 plus taels he intended to use to make a few decent pieces of furniture, repair that broken thatched hut, and then build a wall around it. Without a wall, there was no privacy at all, and he couldn't feel safe leaving things in the house, always worried someone might steal them. In the evening, the 2 of them arrived smoothly at Lu Family Village. Thinking of the 4 little ones at home, Suyu was eager to get back, but he didn't expect that as soon as he entered the village, a middle-aged woman called out to him, "Little sister, hurry home and see. Your Lu the Third is back." Lu the Third is back? Came back alive or dead? Suyu had the words on the tip of his tongue, but then felt it wouldn't be right to ask that himself. So he just nodded at Sister Zhou, turned and urged the driver to hurry, and strode quickly toward home. Before he even reached the house, he saw the thatched hut on the hillside surrounded by people. His elder sister-in-law spotted him at once and called out in surprise, "Little sister-in-law, you're finally back." At the doorway, a crowd of people all turned to look toward the bridge. The crowd parted to make a path, and Lin Erbao's familiar face appeared again. Suyu tightened his grip on his knife. He told the driver not to be afraid, to wait there, and walked forward alone. His first words were an annoyed demand. "Why are you here again?" Yes, Lu Ji was still alive, but only barely, half dead. His whole body was black and blue, especially that handsome face he took such pride in. It was now a terrible mess. Dalong and his 3 siblings were gathered around him, calling for him to wake up. When they saw Suyu appear, their eyes all lit up at once, and almost instinctively they let go of Lu Ji, running over to Suyu. "Mother!" The 4 siblings came up behind him, looked at his brand new clothes, then at the ox cart piled high on the bridge. and realized he must have caught game. Overjoyed, Suyu faced the 4 children, ruffled each one's head in turn, and said gently to Dalong and Erlang, "Take your younger brother and sister inside. I'll handle this." Dalong gave Suyu a long, deep look, hesitated for a few seconds, then obediently led the other 3 into the house. As soon as the 4 siblings closed the door, Suyu's knife flashed up, like the wind, and in a blur of speed pressed it against Lin Erbao's neck. The villagers and the Lu family members watching, all gasped in shock at his move. The men Lin Erbao had brought, immediately raised their weapons, surrounding Suyu, ready to strike. "If anyone moves, I'll kill him." The cold blade against his neck sent a chill through Lin Erbao, and the bloody smell from the handle stung his nose. Goosebumps rose on Lin Erbao's face. "Everyone stop. Don't touch the gentleman." "What do you mean by this?" Suyu glanced at the half-dead man on the ground, and shot back. "I should be asking you the same thing. Didn't we agree not to send him back alive? And now, Lu the Third was right. You really are a vicious woman. I was kind enough to bring him back alive, and instead of being grateful, you tried to kill me. You brought him back. What about the debt? Is it wiped clean?" "Of course not." Suyu's eyes narrowed dangerously. Lin Erbao felt a chill under his stare. He really hadn't expected that Lu the Third's household had such a fierce woman. If he'd known, he wouldn't have come today. Just as he was about to urge Suyu not to act rashly, Suyu suddenly withdrew the knife himself and held out his hand. Lin Erbao was completely confused. He subconsciously touched his neck. His neck still there, let out a long sigh of relief. The neck still breathes a sigh of relief. "What do you mean, an IOU?" Lin Erbao hurriedly waved back. The men who'd been about to jump Suyu, as if their third-rate kung fu skills would even be a mouthful for her. He kept sneaking glances. Suyu unhurriedly took out the IOU she'd just shown Old Man Lu and the others. Again, on the IOU were 2 crooked lines of writing. Lu Ji's handwriting. It said Lu Ji had borrowed 20 taels of silver from Lin Erbao and agreed to repay 22 taels with interest after 2 months. If not repaid by the due date, an extra tael of interest would be charged for every day overdue. The signature date was July 30th. Today is October 28th. That's 28 days past due. Principal and interest come to exactly 50 taels. Even Suyu couldn't help swearing when she saw that number. It matched the 50 taels she'd set aside and never touched. Could my luck get any worse? Old Man Lu's family worked from dawn to dusk all year, and from what the fields produced, plus the money the women saved from weaving cloth. At best they could save 2 or 3 taels. This debt was an unimaginable astronomical figure for any villager in Lu family village. If it weren't for Lu Ji lying on the ground, covered in purple bruises, Old Man Lu would have kicked the ungrateful wretch to death himself. Suyu was no exception. Her fists clenched and loosened and clenched, and she ground her back teeth so hard they creaked. It sounded terrifying. Our money didn't fall from the sky either. Me and my brothers. At home we've got old parents and mothers, and wives and children below. Our whole families depend on us to get by. If we can't get this money back, we won't have it easy either. The way he said it, it almost sounded like Suyu was the one bullying him. Sister-in-law He and sister-in-law Chio, seeing the ox cart piled high with goods on the bridge, wanted to ask Suyu if she'd had a good haul from the mountains this time. Maybe enough to pay off the debt. But before they could open their mouths, they were glared back by Old Man Lu and Zhang Shi. Suyu took a deep breath. That breath didn't go down smoothly. She gave the man lying on the ground a hard kick in the butt. His body gave a little shudder. His eyes were squeezed shut. He didn't dare move. Not at all. Suyu looked at the entire ring of people around her, closed her eyes, and let out a sigh. She waved at Lin Erbao and Old Man Lu and Zhang Shi. "Let's talk somewhere private." Old Man Lu and Zhang Shi exchanged a glance. They nodded in agreement. The old couple had understood by now. Third son's wife was really something. She wasn't even afraid of Lin Erbao. Maybe she had a way out. Lin Erbao's heart was pounding with panic, but in front of his men, he couldn't lose face as their boss. He tilted his chin at Suyu. "Come with me. Talk aside." The 4 of them went behind the house, out of the villagers' prying eyes. "Dad, Mom, I called you 2 over, because I want you to be witnesses." "Witness to what?" "I'll sell you a favor on this money. How much do you actually have to pay back?" "Give me a number. As for 50 taels, I'll tell you straight up. Absolutely impossible." Suyu glanced down at the knife in her hand, and at the hoe Lin Erbao was gripping tightly. She knew Lin Erbao had someone above him. Even though the money was lent in Lin Erbao's name, it definitely wasn't his. Half a quarter of an hour ago, if Suyu had said she'd sell him a favor, Lin Erbao would have snorted in contempt. But now he suddenly thought it was worth considering. When you drift in the underworld, how can you not get cut? What if someday he needed Suyu's favor? Lin Erbao weighed the options. Suyu didn't push him. She waited patiently. Old Man Lu and Zhang Shi stood side by side against the wall, their hearts pounding so hard they felt like they'd jump out. They were nervous enough to burst. Suddenly Lin Erbao let out a heavy breath. He looked helplessly at Suyu and said, "Dear lady, what if I can't find you later?" The corners of Suyu's mouth lifted. She gave a cold laugh. She didn't answer. Lin Erbao came to his senses. He really didn't have a choice. Otherwise he wouldn't get a single coin back. This life of his might even be forfeited. Lin Erbao's gut feeling was right. Suyu didn't give a damn about Lu Ji. Dead or alive, it made no difference to her. The only thing she cared about was staying in Lu family village, as someone with a legitimate identity, so she wouldn't have to be a fugitive. Lin Erbao sucked in several deep breaths. His brain was racing. He rattled off some mental arithmetic, clicking through an abacus. Finally he gave a number. 38 taels. That's the lowest I can go. If you can't even pay that, there's no point in talking. Lin Erbao was being ruthless. That number was the bottom line he could give. Otherwise, he couldn't answer to his superiors. He'd be dead anyway. Fine. Give me the IOU. You have brush and paper, right? Write a new one. Prove that Lu Ji's debt with you is settled in full. Lin Erbao felt a wave of relief inside. He had paper and brush, but he couldn't write. Su Yu's contemptuous gaze immediately swept over him. Lin Erbao was furious and embarrassed. He called over one of his men. Bring me the inkstone, brush, paper, and red ink paste. He shoved them all at Su Yu, with a provocative look that said, let's see if you can write. To his surprise, she actually could. There was a stump for chopping firewood nearby. Su Yu wrote on it with swift strokes. The settlement statement. In 2 copies. Under each, she put the names, Lin Erbao and Lu Ji. Since she and Lu Ji were lawfully married, she could sign and seal on his behalf. But after Lin Erbao signed, Su Yu didn't pick up the brush. Instead, she turned to the 2 elderly people beside her. Dad, Mom, there's something you have to promise me first. Before I sign and seal this document. You say it. I can help Lu Ji repay this money. But from now on, his life belongs to me. From now on, in this home of mine and Lu Ji's, I make the decisions. You 2 have to be on my side. You cannot oppose any decision I make. Otherwise, I won't sign. Let that bastard Lu Ji die out there. Ah, third son's wife. I know third son is a scoundrel. Marrying you is indeed an injustice to you. Today, you're willing to overlook the past and pay off his debt. Father knows you're a good person. From now on, you're in charge of this household. If after this, third son still doesn't change his ways and keeps acting up, even if you beat him to death, your mother and I will never blame you. Fine. With your and mother's guarantee, I can rest assured. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to take a moment to talk with you about what happens behind the scenes before a video is uploaded here. Before anything else, I want to thank everyone who spends time watching my content. Every comment and every like means a lot to me. Please comment movie number 386 if you are still watching. A simple comment like that gives me a lot of motivation to continue. To make a complete video, I need to combine story writing, AI image creation, video generation, voice work, music, sound effects, and editing. Each part takes time and affects the final quality. At the beginning, I build the basic concept. I decide whether the story will be about cultivation, a system ability, rebirth, revenge, urban fantasy, or another exciting theme. I also decide what makes the main character different from everyone else. ChatGPT is useful because it helps me move faster from a rough idea to a complete draft. Still, I always adjust the script to make sure it sounds suitable for the video and for my audience. Sometimes the most difficult part is not creating a big plot, but making the story clear and smooth enough for viewers to understand without getting lost. AI character creation helps bring the story to life, but I still need to guide the style and choose the images that best match the script. AI images are not always perfect. Sometimes the hands look strange, the face changes, the clothing is wrong, or the background does not match the story. So I have to generate many versions, compare them, and choose only the best ones. I try to make every video feel easy to understand, even when the story has fantasy powers, systems, or complicated world building. Then I create the video scenes from the images. I add motion, zooms, pans, effects, and atmosphere to make the story feel more cinematic and dynamic. Voice creation is also very important. If the voice does not match the scene, the story will lose emotion. I check the tone, timing, and feeling carefully. During editing, I check every scene carefully. Sometimes a short moment only lasts a few seconds, but I may need to adjust it many times to make it feel right. Even if the final video looks smooth, the work behind it can take a lot of time. I often spend from 1 to several days to make sure the result is good enough. Every bit of support helps me continue making content and improving the quality of the channel. This is only a general overview. Later, I will go deeper into each step and explain how I actually do it. That is the basic process behind my videos. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to comment movie number 386 if you are still here. See you in the next video. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming back to the channel. This time, I want to show you a little of the work that happens before the final video is finished. Your support is very important to me because every video takes time, patience, and a lot of small adjustments. To let me know you are watching until now, leave the comment movie number 449. Your comment really helps support the channel. To make a complete video, I need to combine story writing, AI image creation, video generation, voice work, music, sound effects, and editing. Each part takes time and affects the final quality. Before I write anything, I need a direction. I think about the genre, the main character's goal, the danger they will face, and the emotion I want the audience to feel. A strong idea is important because it becomes the foundation for the entire video. When the idea is ready, I use ChatGPT as a creative assistant. It helps me turn a simple concept into a more complete story. It can suggest plot points, character backgrounds, narration, and dialogue, but I still have to edit the final script myself. The script is very important because it controls the feeling of the whole video. A good script needs a strong opening, clear development, exciting conflict, and moments that make viewers want to keep watching. Sometimes I have to rewrite a section many times before it feels right. AI character creation helps bring the story to life, but I still need to guide the style and choose the images that best match the script. There are times when I generate many images and only a few are good enough to use. This is normal, but it makes the process longer. Sometimes one small mistake in the voice or visuals can break the mood, so I have to review the video carefully. I try to make each scene feel like it belongs in a living story, with motion that supports the emotion rather than distracting from it. The voice makes the video easier to follow and more emotional. I adjust the timing so the narration fits the images and the viewer can understand the story clearly. During editing, I check every scene carefully. Sometimes a short moment only lasts a few seconds, but I may need to adjust it many times to make it feel right. A complete video is not finished quickly. It often takes from one day to several days because every step has details that need to be checked and improved. Your support gives me the motivation to continue improving. Every comment helps me feel that there are real people enjoying the content I create. In future videos, I will slowly break down each step in more detail. I will share how I build ideas, how I use ChatGPT, how I create AI characters, how I make video scenes, how I create voices, and how I edit the final video. That is the basic process behind my videos. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to comment, movie number 449, if you are still here. See you in the next video. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming back to the channel. This time, I want to show you a little of the work that happens before the final video is finished. Your support is very important to me because every video takes time, patience, and a lot of small adjustments. To let me know you are watching until now, leave the comment, movie number 365. Your comment really helps support the channel. To make a complete video, I need to combine story writing, AI image creation, video generation, voice work, music, sound effects, and editing. Each part takes time and affects the final quality. Before I write anything, I need a direction. I think about the genre, the main character's goal, the danger they will face, and the emotion I want the audience to feel. A strong idea is important because it becomes the foundation for the entire video. When the idea is ready, I use ChatGPT as a creative assistant. It helps me turn a simple concept into a more complete story. It can suggest plot points, character backgrounds, narration, and dialogue, but I still have to edit the final script myself. The script is very important because it controls the feeling of the whole video. A good script needs a strong opening, clear development, exciting conflict, and moments that make viewers want to keep watching. Sometimes I have to rewrite a section many times before it feels right. AI character creation helps bring the story to life, but I still need to guide the style and choose the images that best match the script. There are times when I generate many images and only a few are good enough to use. This is normal, but it makes the process longer. For me, this process is not only technical work, it is also a creative journey where every choice changes the feeling of the final video. I try to make each scene feel like it belongs in a living story, with motion that supports the emotion rather than distracting from it. The voice makes the video easier to follow and more emotional. I adjust the timing so the narration fits the images and the viewer can understand the story clearly. During editing, I check every scene carefully. Sometimes a short moment only lasts a few seconds, but I may need to adjust it many times to make it feel right. A complete video is not finished quickly. It often takes from one day to several days because every step has details that need to be checked and improved. Your support gives me the motivation to continue improving. Every comment helps me feel that there are real people enjoying the content I create. In future videos, I will slowly break down each step in more detail. I will share how I build ideas, how I use ChatGPT, how I create AI characters, how I make video scenes, how I create voices, and how I edit the final video. That is the basic process behind my videos. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to comment, movie number 365, if you are still here. See you in the next video. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today's video is a little different because I want to explain how I create my videos from the very beginning to the final edit. Your support is very important to me because every video takes time, patience, and a lot of small adjustments. If you are watching this part right now, please leave a comment saying movie number 166. I want to know who is still here and truly following the video. To make a complete video, I need to combine story writing, AI image creation, video generation, voice work, music, sound effects, and editing. Each part takes time and affects the final quality. The idea is like the seed of the whole video. If the idea is weak, everything after it becomes harder. That is why I spend time choosing the right theme and direction before writing. When the idea is ready, I use ChatGPT as a creative assistant. It helps me turn a simple concept into a more complete story. It can suggest plot points, character backgrounds, narration, and dialogue, but I still have to edit the final script myself. I often spend a long time polishing the story. I remove unnecessary details, improve the hook, strengthen the main character's motivation, and make sure the audience can follow the story easily. AI character creation helps bring the story to life, but I still need to guide the style and choose the images that best match the script. Not every image can be used. Some images have broken details, wrong expressions, or poses that do not match the emotion. I usually need several attempts before finding the right visual. For me, this process is not only technical work, it is also a creative journey where every choice changes the feeling of the final video. I try to make each scene feel like it belongs in a living story, with motion that supports the emotion rather than distracting from it. Then I create and add the voices. The narration and character voices need to match the mood of each scene. An action scene needs energy, an emotional scene needs a softer tone, and a mysterious scene needs a slower and deeper feeling. During editing, I check every scene carefully. Sometimes a short moment only lasts a few seconds, but I may need to adjust it many times to make it feel right. Some videos are easier, while others require much more time because the story is longer or the visuals are more difficult to create. Your support gives me the motivation to continue improving. Every comment helps me feel that there are real people enjoying the content I create. Step by step, I will show you more behind-the-scenes details about the way I create videos for this channel. That is the